the wild, the greatest fear is not death. The greatest fear is losing your own child. Deep within the mangrove forests of Borneo, where towering trees rise above dark rivers and tangled roots disappear beneath muddy water, every sunrise marks the beginning of another battle for survival. Every sound carries meaning. Every shadow may conceal danger, and every careless step can become the last. High in the canopy, a 7-month-old proboscis monkey carefully makes his way across a weathered branch. Separated from his mother for only a brief moment, the tiny infant tests each step with nervous hands. The old branch bends beneath his weight, while the humid forest seems strangely quiet. Every rustling leaf reminds him that he is alone. Unseen by the young monkey, a clouded leopard waits silently only a few meters away. Perfectly hidden among the leaves, the predator remains absolutely motionless. Its muscular body clings tightly to the tree as its golden eyes study every movement of the vulnerable infant. Patiently, it measures the distance, calculating the exact instant to strike. Far below, the river appears calm and peaceful, reflecting the emerald canopy above like polished glass. Yet, beneath the muddy surface, another deadly hunter waits in complete silence, invisible to everything happening overhead. The leopard slowly lowers its body. Powerful muscles tighten beneath its spotted coat as razor-sharp claws grip the bark. Every instinct tells the predator that the opportunity has finally arrived. Then, without warning, the wind shifts. The baby monkey suddenly freezes. His tiny ears twitch as an ancient instinct warns him that something is terribly wrong. Before he can understand the danger, the forest erupts into chaos. The clouded leopard explodes from the shadows, launching through the air with breathtaking speed. Its massive paws stretch forward as curved claws reach for the helpless infant. In that single heartbeat, the young monkey makes the only decision his survival instincts allow. He lets go. His tiny body drops into the empty space beneath the canopy, escaping the leopard's deadly claws by only a fraction of a second. The predator crashes onto the branch, claws tearing away strips of bark as it struggles to recover its balance. Moments later, the infant slams into the muddy river below. The impact sends water exploding in every direction before the strong current immediately drags him beneath the surface. Desperately fighting for air, he struggles upward, terrified by the unfamiliar world surrounding him. The leopard refuses to surrender its prey. Without hesitation, it dives into the river and powers through the water, rapidly closing the distance. The exhausted infant finally breaks the surface, gasping desperately as he paddles toward the nearest muddy bank with every ounce of strength he has left. Neither the frightened monkey nor the pursuing leopard notices the pair of pale yellow eyes slowly opening beneath them. Deep below the murky water, a massive saltwater crocodile has sensed the violent disturbance. Silently, almost invisibly, the ancient predator begins rising toward the surface, turning what began as a hunt into a deadly struggle where even the hunter may become the hunted. Just as the clouded leopard closed in for the final attack, the river suddenly exploded. A monstrous saltwater crocodile burst from the muddy depths, its enormous jaws snapping upward with terrifying force toward the leopard's spine. In a single instant, the hunter became the hunted. Reacting on pure instinct, the leopard twisted violently at the last possible moment. The crocodile's massive jaws slammed shut on nothing but water and mud, sending a violent spray into the humid air. Realizing it had narrowly escaped death, the leopard abandoned the chase without hesitation. It scrambled onto the muddy bank, climbed the nearest tree with astonishing speed, and disappeared back into the dense canopy. The crocodile lingered for only a few moments before silently sinking beneath the dark water once again, leaving the river as calm as if nothing had happened. Exhausted and trembling, the baby monkey dragged himself onto the muddy shoreline. Every breath burned inside his tiny chest as water dripped from his soaked fur. He looked around desperately, but the familiar faces of his family were nowhere to be seen. The endless forest suddenly felt far larger and far more frightening than ever before. Driven by fear, the infant climbed the nearest tree as quickly as his exhausted body allowed. Reaching a thin branch high above the river, he opened his mouth and released a series of desperate cries that echoed through the mangrove forest. They were not cries of pain, but a plea for help, a call only his family could truly understand. Across the river, hidden deep within the canopy, the troop immediately froze. The alpha male raised his head, instantly recognizing the infant's voice. Without hesitation, the entire family rushed toward the sound, moving swiftly through the trees, while mothers stayed close together behind their powerful leader. Reaching the river's edge, the alpha male stopped only for a moment. He stared across the dangerous gap, knowing predators could still be waiting below. Then, without the slightest hesitation, he launched himself into the air. His powerful body soared across the open space before landing firmly on the opposite tree. The frightened infant immediately rushed toward him. The alpha gently pulled the tiny monkey close, carefully inspecting him for injuries before wrapping one strong arm around the trembling child. Moments later, the rest of the troop crossed one after another, forming a protective circle around the exhausted infant. Safe within the embrace of his family once again, the baby monkey finally allowed himself to rest as the last light of day slowly faded behind the ancient forests of Borneo. Far below, however, another hunter had already begun preparing for the coming night. As darkness settled over the mangrove forest, silence slowly reclaimed the canopy. Nestled safely against his mother's chest, the baby monkey finally drifted to sleep, surrounded by the warmth and protection of his family. For the troop, the nightmare seemed to be over, but on the forest floor, another hunt was only beginning. Beneath the sprawling roots of an ancient fig tree, the sweet scent of fallen fruit attracted countless small animals searching for an easy meal. Hidden among the dry leaves, a giant reticulated python lay perfectly still. Its massive body blended effortlessly with the forest floor, while its tongue flicked through the humid air, searching for the faintest trace of warm-blooded prey. Before long, a small squirrel scampered down the tree trunk, completely unaware of the danger waiting below. It paused beside a fallen fig and began eating peacefully. The python slowly tightened its coils, drawing its head backward with incredible patience. Every muscle prepared for a single explosive strike. Without warning, the snake lunged, its jaws shot forward with astonishing speed, tearing through the leaves like a spear. But the squirrel reacted at the very last instant, leaping back up the tree as the python's jaws snapped shut on empty bark. The failed attack echoed through the silent forest. Watching from nearby shadows was a familiar survivor. The clouded leopard had witnessed everything. Still bruised from its encounter with the crocodile, hunger continued to drive the exhausted predator. Seeing the giant python briefly exposed, the leopard made a dangerous decision. It attacked. Launching from the darkness, the leopard landed squarely on the python's back, driving its razor-sharp claws deep into the thick scales. The enormous snake reacted instantly. Its muscular body whipped around the leopard with terrifying speed, wrapping powerful coils around the struggling cat. A brutal battle erupted beneath the fig tree. The leopard slashed wildly, sinking its teeth into the snake whenever it found an opening. The python responded by tightening its crushing grip, squeezing harder with every breath the leopard released. Leaves, broken branches, and mud flew in every direction as the two apex predators fought desperately for survival. Slowly, the leopard's movements became weaker. Its chest could no longer expand against the relentless pressure. Sensing victory, the python loosened its coils just enough to reposition its head. That single mistake changed everything. Summoning the last of its strength, the leopard twisted violently and buried its fangs deep into the python's neck. The wounded snake recoiled in agony, releasing its grip just long enough for the battered leopard to break free. Bleeding heavily and gasping for air, the two predators stared at one another in complete silence. Neither was willing to risk another attack. At last, the leopard slowly backed into the darkness while the exhausted python remained coiled beneath the fig tree, conserving what little strength it had left. High above them, the monkey family slept peacefully, never knowing that another deadly battle had unfolded beneath their resting place. The first light of dawn revealed only silence. Beneath the ancient fig tree, scattered scales, torn fur, and broken branches were the only signs that two powerful predators had nearly destroyed one another during the night. High above, the proboscis monkey troop awoke together. The baby monkey, though still shaken by the previous day's terrifying escape, slowly regained his confidence as he followed his family through the upper canopy. The alpha male led every movement with unwavering caution. Whenever the troop crossed dangerous gaps between the trees, he always moved first, scanning every branch before allowing the mothers and infants to follow. His experience had taught him that the forest never offered a second chance to the careless. As the day passed, another danger appeared along the muddy riverbanks. Several large water monitor lizards silently patrolled the shoreline, their forked tongues tasting the air for any young animal that might fall from above. The alpha immediately signaled his family to climb higher, refusing to let the troop travel anywhere near the ground. The infant watched closely, beginning to understand that survival depended not only on courage, but also on patience and wisdom. As evening returned, darkness once again spread across the mangrove forest. Seeking safety, the troop settled among the highest branches of an ancient tree. While the mothers slept with their infants pressed tightly against them, the alpha male remained awake, constantly watching the shadows below. Not far away, the clouded leopard emerged from hiding. Its wounds had begun to heal, but hunger still burned inside the exhausted predator. At nearly the same moment, the giant reticulated python slowly climbed from its hollow refuge, once again searching for prey beneath the cover of darkness. Fate brought the two predators together once more. Meeting on a thick branch beneath the sleeping monkey troop, they froze, each recognizing the dangerous rival standing only a few feet away. Neither retreated. Within seconds, the silence shattered as the leopard launched forward. The python struck back immediately, and another violent battle erupted high above the forest floor. The enormous branch shook violently beneath their combined weight. Above them, the monkeys desperately clung to swaying limbs as the entire tree trembled. Then, disaster struck. A smaller branch cracked. The baby monkey suddenly slipped from his mother's grasp, dangling helplessly above the darkness below. Before anyone else could react, the alpha male leaped without hesitation. Swinging through the air, he caught a hanging vine with his tail and reached out with one powerful arm, grabbing the falling infant just moments before he disappeared into the abyss. At that exact instant, the weakened branch supporting the battling predators finally gave way. With a deafening crack, both the clouded leopard and the giant python plunged together toward the river below. The impact sent water exploding into the night. Almost instantly, the enormous saltwater crocodile surged from the depths, clamping its crushing jaws around the falling python. The leopard barely escaped the deadly bite, dragging its battered body onto the muddy bank before disappearing once again into the darkness. High above the chaos, the alpha male carefully lifted the rescued infant back into his mother's waiting arms. The family huddled together in silence, knowing they had survived another night that could easily have ended in tragedy. By the time the eastern horizon began to glow with soft shades of gold and crimson, the storm of violence had finally passed. The monkey troop quietly left the damaged tree and continued deeper into the safety of the upper canopy. For the first time since the nightmare had begun, no predator followed their movements. The forest seemed strangely peaceful, as if the darkness had carried away every trace of fear with the coming dawn. The baby monkey rested securely on his mother's back, his tiny hands wrapped tightly around her soft fur. Only a day earlier, he had stood alone on a fragile branch, escaped the claws of a clouded leopard, fought against the powerful current of the river, and survived the jaws of an enormous crocodile. He was still the youngest member of the troop, but the forest had already taught him lessons that many creatures would never live long enough to learn. Nearby, the alpha male paused on a high branch overlooking the endless mangrove below. His scarred body bore the marks of countless battles fought throughout his life, but his eyes remained calm and watchful. He had not defeated the leopard. He had not conquered the crocodile or the python. Yet he had accomplished something far greater. He had protected his family. Far below, the river flowed peacefully once again, hiding every sign of the night's brutal struggle. The crocodile disappeared beneath the muddy water, waiting patiently for another opportunity that would someday come. Deep within the forest, the battered, clouded leopard limped silently into the shadows, while the wounded python retreated to recover from a battle that neither predator had truly won. Life continued exactly as it always had. Birds welcomed the morning with gentle songs. Warm sunlight filtered through the towering trees, painting the mangrove in brilliant shades of green and gold. The monkey troop disappeared deeper into the endless canopy, moving together as one family, each member protecting the next. In the wild, survival has never belonged to the strongest animal, the fastest hunter, or the deadliest predator. Every creature, no matter how powerful, eventually faces something stronger than itself. Even the greatest hunters can become prey. The greatest strength is found in those who refuse to abandon the ones they love. For a mother, it is the courage to comfort her frightened child. For a father, it is the willingness to risk everything without hesitation. And for the young, it is the wisdom gained from surviving yesterday and carrying those lessons into tomorrow. As the vast wilderness of Borneo stretched endlessly beneath the morning sun, one truth became unmistakably clear. True victory is not measured by the enemies you defeat. It is measured by the quiet moment when, after surviving every impossible trial, you look beside you and find your family still alive to welcome another sunrise.